Today we're going to cook some free-range pork for you. It's got some cutlets. We're just going to do them with a simple salad today. So we're going to start off. I've left the pork cutlets out. I like to, if I can, and it doesn't always happen, but I'd always like to cook meat that's come up to room temperature. It doesn't take as long to cook, and I believe it's a lot easier on the muscle as it's cooking. It doesn't take as long to cook, so you always have to remember that if you're going to keep your meat out to come warm. Now we've got the barbecue going flat out as hard as we can. Hood's been down for a while. It's piping hot. It's been steaming. You can see the smoke coming off. Now I've also put a bit of oil. We've just used olive oil here today on these pork cutlets. We're just going to whack them on. It's nice and hot. You can hear the sizzle. And while these are cooking, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the pork that we do. We've got a butcher called the Free Range Butcher. We source our product from our own farm. We've got sour 40 pigs. We've got some beef at home, shorthorn Angus cross beef, and we also do some fat lambs, but minimal lamb now these days. So look, while they're cooking, that's hot, the hood's back down, keeping the heat up high. I'll tell you a little bit about pasture-fed pork. The big difference these days, well, the difference that we're trying to promote these days is the difference between pasture-fed pork and also free-range pork. Now, it's fairly topical pork at the minute. There's been an Animal Australia ad on. And what they're trying to promote is offering the ethical treatment of animals. Well, on that side, pasture-fed pork different for us free-range pork, where now pasture-fed pork is produced outside, where free-range pork can now, by legislation, be produced inside a shed. And not a true shed as you would think, but it's got a roof, there's a concrete floor, they do put hay on there, and legislation allows them to have one pig per 1.5 square metres. Now, a lot of this pork is available in your supermarkets, labelled as free range. There's a picture of a nice sow, some piglets out the front. And what really concerns me about this is that the perception in the customer's mind is different from actually what happens on farm. So really what the big industry bodies have looked to do by taking on this free range label is get the maximum consumer change at the supermarket shelf with a minimum system change on farm. Now look, I do agree that free range, if that's the term that they're using, is a lot better than what was used before with sow stalls and in sheds, no light and all that sort of gear. So I mean, I think that they're doing it a lot better, but my issue, or one of my issues with calling it free range is that it's not a true free range product. If you as a consumer believe that when you're buying a product that's labelled as free range, you would think in your mind that it is outside, that it's under trees, that it's enjoying the benefits of grass, the mud and water and feed outside as our pigs do on our farm. So we're differentiating ourselves there and calling it pasture fed. They cannot call their pork pasture fed pork. So by doing this, we achieve what we want to achieve on farm by keeping an ethical, sustainable and traceable product, but we're also producing a product that is really tasty, and you're producing good, valuable pork. That the animal's happy, and you produce a great product as well. So going back to our pork. Now look, it's nice and cooked here. We're turning that over. You can see that the word these days is caramelisation on that pork. We might move that just a little closer in where the heat is, and let that go. Really what you want to do, as soon as that moisture comes to the top on that previous side, you want to be turning it. So when I open that, I can see the moisture on the top of the pork. Obviously turn it over now. It really probably only needs half as much time on that side as it does. We're really just trying to sear that off. What we'll do shortly is turn that down, put that up on that top resting plate, and just let that rest for a little minute as it cooks through nice and slow. So back to our business, the Free Range Butcher. What we do at the Free Range Butcher is really try to think outside the box from normal butchers. So we produce a lot of items that aren't regularly produced in normal butcher shops. I'll take our sausages for example. Now our sausages we produce from scratch. So we stew it. We've got a pork, keeping on the pork topic, we do a pork apple and cranberry. We buy the apples from a local grower, we stew them down with the cranberries, we add a bit of sugar, mix it in our own pork, we do a bit of rice flour, and then make our own sausages from them. Our beef and beetroot sausages, we only use them when they're in season. Season's starting to dry up there at the minute. roast our own beetroot and balsamic, mix them up with the beef, fresh parsley involved, push them through out, and out come our beef and beetroot sausages. So we're trying to, instead of buying a simple mix from a wholesaler and pour that in, add the meat, add the water and push it out, we're really trying to do things with seasonal products, use fresh fruits, veggies, whatever we can, interesting things. We've got really good butchers on board that again think outside the box and really try to invent new things that others would not do or would not be going to do and take the risk that we do. So as a result, we've got a great customer base that really want to come in and try different things all the time. Some of them don't work, some of them work really well. So we're always looking to invent new products and look to use the things that are around me at the farmers markets. So that's a big thing for us. We'll just check the pork. I reckon we're getting probably pretty close there. That's only going to need another little bit. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take these off and put them on the resting plate. I do think it really values meat. Meat is a muscle. And it really, you get a lot better value out of your meat if you rest it once before cooking and also after. So what we're doing there, we're just turning that off and just using the heat that's left inside the barbecue. We will leave it there for a few minutes and then we'll come up to our salad. So back to the free range butcher. You can order online, shameless promotion. We've got a shop out at Penner Hills, and you can also see us through various farmers markets. Now we source all our product direct out of these farmers markets when we can. So I know the guys that are producing, the fruit and veggie growers that are producing the fruit and veg for us, the beetroot's coming from out in the Hawkesbury. A lot of our stuff we try to keep as local as we can and pull out of Sydney. So you can see us online. You can also see us at any of the farmers markets. We're doing 6 or 7 a week. So come and see us there. The baby's starting to kick in. Alright, pork's been done. You can see now it's well caramelised on this side. You also got some good caramelisation on the other. We've wanted a little bit more time. We'll just let these rest as they're coming out. So really what you want to be doing is pulling this pork off. It can be virtually, rare, medium rare. You don't want to be overcooking. You can see the moisture on the top, which is where we want to be. Barbecue's off. Now the salad we've got today is just a very simple salad. We've got some fresh rocket, we've got pear, avocado, there's parmesan cheese, pine nuts, and also we've got a little bit of salsa that we've whipped up there thanks to my sous chef. So to get this salad going on, we're just letting our pork rest. Just put those pears out very delicately, like that, as good as a butcher can. Some avocado. Now the salsa, why I do this even bigger fingers. The salsa made up, there's some apples, which we've actually left the skin on there. The apples are quite good. If you leave the red apples, there's delicious apples. We've left the skin on there, gives a bit of colour to it. There's lime, which helps keep the, you get a bit of spark out of the lime, but it also helps keep the colour out of the apple so it doesn't go dark. And there's also something else in there which I'm going to say now is parsley.
Coriander.
Okay, it's coriander. So we're just going to put a little bit of that lovely coriander apple salsa on the chops. The last thing to put on the salad is the pine nuts. So that again's had some pears, avocado and parmesan. Do they all go on there, sous chef?
No, whatever you think.
Right. And then what we're going to do, should that have been done on the plate, is just serve a little bit of this up on the side. Look at that. So what you got here is some really good tasting pasture fed pork. It being grown up on the grass gives it a hell of a lot of flavour. Cooked by a champion, salad done by a great woman. We'll catch you next time.